Before I start this one off, I just want to remind you that there's still 5 days left. You got until January 10. If you want to sign up for Star Citizen and use my referral code, you can get yourself a free MPUV Cargo ship with lifetime insurance, and I'll get one as well, and you'll get a little bit extra cash. And that's before January 10th. So if you haven't signed up for the game yet, please consider using my referral code. And if at the end of this video you learned something new and you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Now, let's get on. So I decided to revisit the Reclaimer. I jumped on to do a little bit of solo salvaging to film some of the new crafting options that you get on the salvage filler. And you can see them here. They're pretty cool. As some of you may have heard, you can now make a multi-tool, a tractor beam attachment, and you can also make the other things you need to do some hand salvaging. So overall, it's pretty cool. A little bit of extra crafting, a little bit of extra value to the Reclaimer and the Vulture. Pretty dope. And as I was finishing up, I came across one of the salvageable 890 jumps that spawn in the asteroid fields. And I thought I might, take a little bit of a closer look, because I could see some light still inside, and I'd never actually been in one of the salvageable 890 jumps. So I wanted to see exactly, what was in there. Had they just sort of gutted the inside and it was just sort of a mesh version of it, or was there still some stuff going on in there? And I got curious. So I got out of the ship, I EVA'd over, and I thought I would just float on through the hangar bay. But that's when something weird happened. Each time I tried to EVA into the hangar bay, since it was in soft death, I assumed that there'd be no gravity. But each time I tried to, come in through the bottom, gravity would kick in and it would drop me back out again. So I realized, there's still gravity in this 890 jump. I thought there wasn't supposed to be. Maybe there's more that still works in this thing. So I gave up and tried to get in through the hangar after a little bit. I realized that was impossible. And I went through to the side entrance, made my way in, had a bit of a walk around, and the majority of the lights were off, but there was still enough on. Still, the general sort of things were all still there. There was an elevator here or a hangar door missing there, but all the chairs were there. All the luxurious items were still there. The bar was still stocked. You could still lie down in the beds and sit down in the chairs. I went into the pool area, and one thing that was missing was the water. The water from the pool and the spa was missing, and it did make it feel kind of extra spooky. Like, what happened to the water? And since there was some stuff still working, I wanted to find the chairs, like the bridge. And there's a second bridge in the 890 jump, and my thoughts were like, maybe I can get in one of these chairs and see if there's any systems I can still activate. And the secondary bridge, all the chairs were missing from there, so that couldn't work. Couldn't get in any of the turrets, and I went up to the main bridge, and there were 2 seats there, but they wouldn't let me sit down in them. So I was like, okay, cool. It's, just has some gravity. I'm sure it's just something that's going to be patched out, and, overall, it's nice that they bothered to keep all these assets in here. It was good to explore. But I thought, wait a minute, there's one more thing I should still check out. The med bay, because the med bed in there, you can actually respawn in normally. So I thought, on the odd chance, I should go check it out just in case that was still active. I found the med bay, I found the med bed, I lay down, and it healed all my wounds and filled up all my food and drink. So I thought, let's see what happens if I set it to my spawn point. Went to regeneration, there's the option, selected it, and it said it was all working. So I guess all I really had to do then was die. So I opened up my inventory, and I realized the local inventory for the 890 jump was still accessible as well. I was able to drag things in and out, and that all worked fine. So I took all my gear off, chucked it in the inventory of the 890 jump, and backspaced to kill myself. And sure enough, I respawned back in the medbay of the 890 jump. It worked. And this was exciting, and it got me thinking, if the 890 jumps in the salvageable areas still have gravity and you can respawn to them and store things in the inventory, you could use these as Trojan horses, essentially. You could you could bring tanks and drop them off in the hangar bay, and they would sit there fine with the gravity. You could bring your crew over. You could store rail guns and weapons and new suits and everything. In fact, when I respawned, it gave me a basic suit and helmet, so you don't need to bring any basic clothing to be able to EVA out. So I'm like, this would be an interesting little trap. What if you're like salvaging one day, you come up to an 890 jump, you go to full cargo, you position your lasers and line it all up, and then bam, you're shot by a tank and a bunch of rail guns and go into soft death, and a bunch of pirates start swarming out of an 890 jump, EVA with tractor beams and rifles. They could be pulling your loot onto the 890 jump, storing it in there with a bunch of other things they've killed, and then kill you and you're done. And if you manage to fight them off at all and kill any of them, they could just respawn in the med bay and like keep doing it. I'm like, oh my God, like, is this something that is going to be patched? Is this a bug or is this a feature? And other than pirating, it also has great bonuses for if you're salvaging, because if your ship doesn't have a med bay that you can respawn in, when you're out salvaging, maybe what you could do is you could bring a little snub fighter, park it into one of these 890 jumps that are all around, set your respawn point there with like a little kit in the ship, and then go do your salvaging. And if you get, taken out by a pirate in there, you immediately can be close by, respawn like seconds away with a kit and a gun, and go and defend to get your stuff back. Like, they're little checkpoints that can be used for salvages, or add 4 pirates. Like, I think tactically it really is an interesting option. Anyway, the options are like incredible now. Like, seeing all those 890 jumps around, I kind of got sick of those things because there's so many around the Grange points, and you don't actually get much good salvage off them. They're all red and yellow when you find them, so I kind of don't spend my time even bothering to salvage them. I go after the juicy little salvage chicken nuggets that you can find that are all green and blue. So now seeing those, from now on, I'm always going to think, are there a bunch of dudes hiding in that thing? Anyway, I thought this was really interesting. Check it out before they patch it, or, maybe there's something they're not going to patch. Like, yeah, is this a bug or is this a feature? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And if you enjoyed this little look into the haunted 890 jump, give us a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time. My name's Dead Leader. I'll see you in the verse. Space. It's cold and it's lonely. But you don't need to be with Dead Leader merchandise.
Merchandising.
With Dead Leader merch, you can represent Star Citizen without looking like a dog.
Merchandising.
Everyone will think it's for some sick band, and if they ask what Dead Leader is, you can just say, you probably wouldn't know them, and they'll think you're sick.
Merchandising.
So grab your Dead Leader merch today and support your favorite content creator. Me, Dead Leader.
Merchandising.